Hola, ¿cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Yo estoy muy bien. Hope you guys understood a little bit of that today. But today we're going to talk about Spanish nouns. Before we get started, I need you guys to open your Google slide that says Nouns and Articles /notes. Make sure that's open so you guys can fill in the blanks. Remember that you guys are writing down what is underlined in these slides. You're going to write that down in your notes. Okay, so make sure you guys have those slides open so you guys can follow along and take notes while the video plays. Okay, so it says a noun is a word used to identify people, animals, places, things, or ideas, just like English. Unlike English, all Spanish nouns, even those that refer to non-living things, have gender. That is, they are considered either masculine or feminine. For example, like if I had the chair in Spanish, it would be la silla. It's feminine because it says la, and we'll learn about articles a little bit later. If you had el lápiz, okay, that's the pencil, so that's masculine because you have el in front of it. Okay, now and in the video you'll also see different ways that you can determine why it's feminine or masculine. Okay, so as in English, Spanish nouns also have number, meaning that they are either singular or plural. And of course, we can relate that to English. So moving on. Nouns that refer to living things. So this is, most of these are found in your vocabulary. So you have el hombre, el chico. So if we notice, a lot of these are people, because it says refers to living things. And it has special endings in O, ending in OR, ending in ISTA, okay, and then for feminine you have endings that are A, ORA, or ISTA, okay. Many nouns that refer to male beings end in O or OR, okay, so example, el conductor, the driver, ends in OR, so that's one way to figure out if it's masculine or feminine, okay? Many feminine forms end in A and ORA, okay? So then you have la profesora. If I were to change these two and make it a female driver, then I would say la conductora. And if I were to change the professor into a male professor, then I would say el profesor, so it ends in OR. All right, so these are some of the endings. The masculine and feminine forms of nouns that end in ISTA, like turista, are the same. So gender is indicated by the article, el for masculine or la for feminine. Some other nouns have identical masculine and feminine forms. Okay, so example, el joven. The word joven, it's like neutral. The only way that you're going to figure out if we're talking about a young man or a young woman is the article that's in front of it. So you asked me, what's an article? We'll learn about that a little bit later, but just for a quick little lesson here, this is your article, el, and that's going to be masculine. So that makes joven masculine, so we know it's a young man. Over here, we see la, so that's feminine, that's a feminine article, so that's how I know that we're talking about a young woman, okay? So we're talking about a young woman. And the same for el estudiante and la estudiante. So here are nouns that refer to non-living things. A lot of these, again, are found in your vocab. So you have other endings. We already went over the O. MA is also a way to figure out if it's a masculine noun. So el problema, el programa, and then also S. So el autobús, el país. So these are all hints on whether this noun is feminine or masculine. So on the other side, you have your feminine nouns. So again, some of the endings that will help you figure out if it's feminine or masculine would be if it ends in an A, it's going to be feminine. If it ends in CION, it's feminine. If it ends in DAD, it's feminine. Okay, so we have examples here for you. Moving on, it says, as shown above in the chart we just looked at, certain noun endings are strongly associated with a specific gender. So you can use them to determine if a noun is masculine or feminine. Okay, so those endings are really going to help you determine whether or not it's feminine or masculine. Okay. All right, so because the gender of the nouns that refer to non-living things cannot be determined by foolproof rules, you should memorize the gender of each noun you learn. It is helpful to learn each noun with its corresponding article, el for masculine and la for feminine. Okay, so non-living things like I said, chairs, pencils. Okay, sometimes we can't determine, all right, so it's better if you memorize. And memorization is key to being successful in Spanish class. Okay, so make sure you guys are studying your vocab. You guys will hear me say that a lot. Study your vocab. All right, so another reason to memorize the gender of every noun is that there are common exceptions. Okay, there's exceptions to these rules. All right, just because we see an ending, it doesn't always, mean it's feminine. It doesn't always mean it's masculine. Okay, so there are always exceptions. So for example, you have el mapa. All right, so if you notice el mapa, in this case it ends in an A, but this word is masculine. Okay, you have el día. Okay, ends in an A, but it's also masculine because of this article. All right, then you have la mano, ends in an O, but this word is feminine. Okay, so there are some exceptions to some of these, so that's why it's best to memorize them. And where can you find these? You can find them in your vocab. So when you study your vocab, it tells you here, right here, el autobús. There's your article. It's telling you that it's masculine. El chico, okay, masculine because it has el in front of it. If I were to go to something that's non-living, you have el cuaderno, okay, so the notebook. So anytime you study your vocab, it's going to tell you. It's going to tell you if it's feminine or masculine. So if I move down to la escuela, okay, this school, it tells me here based on this article that it's a feminine word, okay? It's a feminine word. So moving on. So plural of nouns. How do we make these nouns plural? Okay, so to form the plural, you're going to add an S to nouns that end in a vowel. For nouns that end in a consonant, you're going to add ES. Okay, for nouns that end in Z, you change the Z to a C, then you add ES. So for example, el chico ends in a vowel, so all you're going to do is add an S. Okay, then you have el diario, ends in a vowel, you're just going to add an S. Okay, so I'm going to move over here to the one that ends in a consonant. Okay, so la nacionalidad, okay, that ends in a consonant, so I'm going to add an ES. So now I have las nacionalidades. Then I have the word país, so el país ends in a consonant, ends in an S, so I'm going to have to add ES. Okay, so los países. And finally, the one that ends in a Z, I'm going to change that to a C, and I'm going to add ES. Okay? That's how you make them plural. Alright, so in general, when a singular noun has an accent mark on this last syllable, the accent is dropped from the plural form. So notice here, there's an accent mark. If you go over here, it's dropped, okay, when you make it plural. Alright? Okay, so then it says you're going to use the masculine form to refer to a group that includes both males and females. Okay, anytime we're talking about people or things, and there's a combination of male and females, then the masculine form is always going to be used. So if I have un pasajero más dos pasajeras son tres pasajeros. Okay, so I have one male passenger plus two female passengers, but I'm going to use the masculine form. Okay, I can have 1,000 female passengers and 1 male passenger, and I'm still going to use that masculine form. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, masculine form is always going to be used. All right, so the next example is dos chicos más dos chicas son 4 chicos. Okay, again, there's 2 and 2, but since it's a combination of both male and female, we're always going to use the masculine form. Okay, so that's just understood. So when you're speaking, you're always going to use the masculine form. But we know that when you're talking to us, we know that you're talking about both male and female, because that's just kind of common whenever you're having a conversation with someone. All right, so masculine form when there's both male and females in a group. All right, so now this is a little different. So we were talking about nouns before. Now we're talking about Spanish articles, okay? So it says, as you know, English often uses definite articles, the, and indefinite articles, a or an, before nouns. So Spanish also has definite and indefinite articles. Unlike English, Spanish articles vary in form because they agree in gender and number with the nouns that they modify. Okay, so that's the difference. We have gender and, of course, singular or plural. Okay. So definite articles. So definite articles are always going to be the in English. Okay, so there's 4 forms of the in Spanish. Okay, so the Spanish form for the that's masculine, singular, is el. Okay. If I'm talking about one dictionary, okay, or the dictionary, a specific dictionary, then I'm going to say el diccionario, okay, the dictionary. If I'm talking about more than one dictionary and I'm being specific, then I'm going to say los diccionarios. Okay, these are all masculine, one's singular, one's plural. Then you have your feminine form of the in Spanish. Okay, so this is going to be la computadora. Okay, so notice it's singular and it is feminine because it ends in O-R-A. So it's the computer. Then you have las computadoras. So again, this is the plural form of the. Okay, the computers. Okay, so remember there's 4 forms. El and los for masculine, la and las for feminine. So that's all like the 4 ways that you would say the in Spanish. So I wrote them down for you to make sure you guys understood that. If you need to take a picture of that, if you need to write that down separately, then make sure you guys do so. Okay? So indefinite articles, these are the words for a or an or some. Okay, so masculine singular is un pasajero, which is a passenger or one passenger. Unos pasajeros is going to be some passengers. Okay, so unos is some. Singular feminine would be una, which is a or one. And then feminine plural is going to be unas, and that means some. Okay? And I wrote that down for you guys. You have singular and plural for your feminine, and then you have your masculine forms, which I actually need to change that for you guys. Let's do that right now so you guys don't. Let me get through this real quick. Okay, so I went over this little typo here. So your masculine form for indefinite would be un, and then your plural would be unos. Okay, and your feminine form is una and unas. All right. So here is some practice for you all to do. So go ahead and pause the video, fill these in. Okay, take some time to fill this in. And then once you have this completed, the next slide has your answers. But don't look at the answers before you complete it. If you don't know what these are, like if you don't know the answers, just go ahead and fill them out. And if you get them wrong, then you know what you did wrong. But don't move ahead. And if you did get them wrong, leave me a question. Okay, and say, Miss Mir, I don't understand why I got these wrong. Okay, so I want to be able to help you understand this. If you need to listen to the video again, listen to the video again. And if you guys have any questions, like I said, reach out to me, and then you guys can get some extra help if you need to. Okay, so remember, nouns in Spanish are feminine, masculine, singular, plural, and they all have articles that go with it. Okay, so you have your definite articles, which are these here. Then you have your indefinite, which are these here. So I'll actually do one with you guys. So you have chica, so I have to choose between el, la, los, or las. If we notice here, there's no S. Okay, so we know that's going to be one. All right, and chica would be girl. So we know it's going to be feminine. So this is my feminine singular. So then I would type in la. Okay, and then I'll do one over here for you guys. All right, so if we go all the way down here, lápiz is masculine, just because I know that. And it's in the vocabulary, it'll tell you that it's masculine. So this one is plural. You see, it has an S. Okay, so it's going to be unos lápices. All right, so that's your lesson for today, and here are the answers. Make sure you guys fill out the chart above before you look at the answers. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know.